Texas Center at Schreiner University took a good look around in 2023. From grand mansions near Houston to small museums in Terrell, we have seen and done a lot. The conversations from the halls of the Capitol to the hunting leases of South Texas all seem to be saying the same thing. Texas is changing. People are moving here from all over the country and all over the planet. How will they find their place in the Texas story? How we answer that is important. History teaches us that changing, adapting, and putting newcomers' talents to work is what Texas does best. It's time to reestablish a common language, an honest telling of the whole inspiring story with all its complexity. And that is exactly what the Texas Center has been doing. We've had a hand in publishing the world's largest book written by students, filled with essays on what it means to each of them to be a Texan.
Life was cheap out here on the frontier.
We've shared little-known stories about the Texas home front during the Civil War. We've shared our vision of the future to eager listeners from Uvalde to Fort Worth. There have been rodeos, art shows, and excursions of every kind. We continue to mentor young Texas artists through the Western Art Academy, developing their talents in award-winning ways.
AT&T is Texas-based. Our world headquarters is in Texas. And what more than be in Texas Center to say that we need to take care of our own. We want to say thank you for your partnership.
We partnered with organizations like AT&T, the Amon G. Carter Foundation, the Leggett Foundation, the Kickapoo Springs Foundation, the Bryan Museum, the Tom Lee Institute, the Whitty Museum, the Alamo, Angelo State University, and many others to tell the great Texas story. There were podcasts, interviews, and presentations galore. From the Texas Lyceum to the Houston Contractors Association, we talked Texas a lot. We even talked Texas in France, where we paid tribute to Texans buried far from home.
So we honor his service and his sacrifice today by telling him that the folks at home remember.
And of course, there is the Texas 1836 Project. Its pamphlet, Telling the Texas Story, is now being distributed by the Department of Public Safety to new drivers and new Texans across the state. 175,000 copies and more to come.
Do you, Donald Shaw Frazier, solemnly swear that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Chairman of the Texas 1836 Project Advisory Committee?
I do.
And our director, Dr. Don Frazier, was sworn in as the chairman of the 1836 committee this year. The Texas Center has the ear of movers and shakers in the halls of the state capitol.
You're the best guy in the country to do this, Don. You got to make the history come alive. And that's what you're doing at Schreiner.
The Texas Center does a lot of talking, but we do a lot of listening too. The Texas Rangers turned 200 and needed an honest broker to convene a civil conversation between critics and supporters of that most Texan of institutions. They turned to us, and passionate people on both sides of the issues had an open and honest exchange, putting their positions in play for viewers to make up their own minds on the issues. Another thing we heard from you loud and clear is to keep telling the Texas story, especially to the next generation. Teachers need all the help they can get, and this year we began to work in earnest on our E Pluribus Texas project. When we're finished, there will be hundreds of Texas-related videos, teaching materials, and other media to make sure natives and newcomers alike hear an accurate and honest telling of the Lone Star story. We're creating 240 short, 5 minutes or less, best-in-class videos and coupling them with appropriate curriculum, lesson plans, and teaching materials. Our goal is simple: to reestablish a common language in Texas. E Pluribus Texas will hasten the return of civil discourse among students, teachers, and everyone living the Texas story. We continue our teacher workshops here on campus, helping our educators earn important continuing education credits and introducing them to E Pluribus Texas materials. We continue to work with the TEA on Texas history curriculum. Our Texas Heritage Days gave students a colorful glimpse of how people lived in the past. We We even flew a pair of high school students from New York City to San Antonio to help them with a national history project about the Alamo. That was a truly amazing memory for us and for them. One thing is certain. We need help as we grow by leaps and bounds. We added another staff member. We brought in new student workers. We also brought in donations. We continue to build our 254-county initiative, raising support from every corner of the state. Backers established endowments to support us, while others sent in donations for our general operations and our education initiatives. We've built up our mailing list, sending out weekly Texas stories, and we have expanded our presence online, working virtually and face-to-face in classrooms, family rooms, even boardrooms and ballrooms. We've learned a thing or two, and we will continue to tell your story, the Texas story. Join us, the Texas Center at Schreiner University.